Hello, friends, another podcast to work on our second goal from Section 2.2 in the AP Stats book. The next thing we're doing here is using the normal distribution to calculate the proportion of values in a specified interval. Well, that's a fancy way of saying find the area under the normal curve between any 2 points. So first and foremost, you should know that this is Table A. This is the table that gives you the areas. So all of these things in the middle here, all these numbers are the area under the curve for any of these z-scores. So for example, this would be the z-score negative 2.93. So that tells me that if I go 2.93 standard deviations below the mean, that the area here will be 0.0017. Now this area can be the number of, or the percentage of the distribution that's below that number. It could also be the probability that I get a number that low or lower if I pick one value randomly out of the distribution. So this same question could be asked either way. And what they want you to recognize here is that if I took, say, a z-score of negative 2.93 that I just found, and it's 0.0017, and another z-score, a positive one this time, 0.78. So I go to 0.7 and I go across to the 8, and I see that that area would be 0.7823. Well, if I want to know the area between, I take this area that I just found and I subtract out the little bit from the first. So if I simply go the 0.7823 minus the 0.0017 that I got previously, that gives me the area between the two z-scores. So that's the point of this. A, you should recognize that this table, these values in here, they can be the percentage of the distribution that's between, or let me say, below a z-score. They can also be the probability that if I pick a value at random from the distribution, that it's in this area. So the question can be asked in a number of different ways, but this is the area under the curve, and these things up here are the z-scores, the ones and tenths digit, and then these are the hundredths digit for the z-score. So on page 117 in your book, you got problem 49. So let's just do these two quickly. They want you to find and understand the area between these two z-scores. So if I'm going to do negative 1.33, I go to the first page of the table, and here's negative 1.3, and I go over till I get to the 0.3. So the value is 0.0918. If I want the area under the curve for 1.65, I go back to the table, the second page this time, and I get 1.65, which is 0.9505. I get 0.8587. Now, you should remember that we've got a program that I wrote on your calculator to do this for you. So the second one, let's use the calculator. The program I want to use is Norwin, so I hit the program key. Norwin is number 3 in my list, so I just hit the number 3. When I hit enter, it asks for the low z, which is going to be the 0.5. It asks for the high z, which is going to be 1.79. And when I hit enter, it's going to draw the whole thing out for me. And notice that this gives me, right in here, the low z, the high z, and this is the area between them. Notice when I get the answers from the book, they say the exact same thing. So you can do this with the table, or you can do it with the calculator. Either way is fine. The other thing I want to make sure you understand is if I go back to this problem, and I want to find out how many scores, or the percentage of scores between 16 and 20, that I can type these z-scores right into this formula, just using that z-score formula, and it'll do the same thing. So when it asks for the two z-scores, I type in the formulas, and when I hit enter, it shows me the shading, and it gives me the percentage, which is 47.2%. All right, that's that one.